Hello once again, everyone. This is amurphsmash's GOVitational 5. It's the finals today. We've got Eldborn and ScotM playing a best of 5. First to 3 wins takes it. Because Arena is a little bit slapdash, that means that after the first best of 3, they'll both go away, do some pre-boarding, set up another best of 3. Eldborn as the leading seed gets to choose play or draw, and then whoever hits 3 wins first will turn gold, because we will have a new champion again after none of our previous champions making it into the final day. With me in the booth, we have Mathcorejay. Say hello.
Hello, everybody. Yeah, I'm Mathcorejay. I'm around sometimes. I tend to stream my drafts on here sometimes. I love watching Ryan stuff. And I've participated in all the GOVitationals so far. So
A stalwart
yeah,
of the
although
format.
my success in the last 2 has been rather abysmal, so there's that.
Well, you'll find that the best way to commentate is to crash out in week 1 like I did, so that's always useful. And yeah, we're piggybacking on Ryan's stream time, actually. While we're recording, this is normally when Ryan's streaming, but of course with jury duty, we've seized the moment and we've done our own. So we'll go straight into it. We'll let ScotM send a challenge over to Eldborn. We're going to watch ScotM's side of the first best of 3, and then the remaining games will flip over to Eldborn's side. So we'll get to see a little bit of both sides of the match. So yeah, go ahead and we will kick off any moment now. Both sides have deafened, which is good. Excellent. That way we can talk about their decks and what's going on without them hearing.
Yeah. So, those decks. Well, it's interesting, right? With both of them, we have some nice decks going on here.
Yeah, there was a really... I found it, looking back over the draft pod, there were some crazy cards in there. Like, not only the ones we see in these people's decks, but the entire pod was packed full of power cards, which must have been a fun draft for them. Let's have a look at this hand. So, keeping with a 2-lander, but they've got Campus Guide for a bit of fixing, and Arch for the Learn. They've got one of their 2 Master Symmetrists out.
Yes, although, do you want to learn early on with the Arch? I think it's one of those cards that...
You want to wait until they target it or you're ready to pull something.
Exactly.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
Like it's like an emergency learner more than a corrective learner, which is still fine. Sometimes you want to learn in an emergency, but...
For sure. I don't remember how many more learns Scot had in his pile, actually. So, and unfortunately, because I'm recording, I can't hop over to the channel to look up the deck, but it'll be interesting to know. Campus Guide fetches up that mountain, getting in some early hits, and the Arch comes out.
Right.
I have enjoyed.
Not unexpected.
Yeah, absolutely. I have enjoyed Eldborn's deck actually, because I haven't really seen many of these white, green, black kind of decks, and I think this is the second time Eldborn's run one of those out.
Yes, so I've just heard Sam Black talk about it in his last podcast.
Oh, okay.
It seems to be a thing, actually. So I think the first one to kind of like make this one popular was actually LSV.
Okay.
Who did a full-on like Celestia Magecraft deck and posted it online, and people kind of went crazy over it.
Ah.
So and yeah, then we had this discussion. So here's the thing about these Abzan decks or Celestia decks. They're kind of based on green.
Okay.
Even if it doesn't look like
they're green heavy.
Like usually these seem to be Witherbloom decks heavily splashing white.
Okay.
Most of the time anyway. Because you have the fixing in green, right? So you kind of want to have that one as your main color in some sense.
Yeah.
And then whether black or white is the secondary color, is a bit up for grabs and depending on the pod.
Okay. What have we got coming out here? Pledge Mage. I think there's a couple of those Eldborns running.
Yep.
And getting some. Yep. So there you go. Making it big quickly, trying to put it out of reach of any removal and try and cover that Symmetrist.
Of course. The earlier you play the Pledge Mage, the better it is.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's definitely a late game card in the sense that, well, if you have an empty hand and play it, it's kind of sad.
And got a fumes out of the Learn to presumably try and put right some of the board that's developed the other side.
Yes. So we had the question how much Learn Scot has. From my view, it's 1 Overgrown Arch.
Uh-huh.
A Dream Strix.
Oh, excellent. Another
And
emergency learner, as you put it.
exactly. And that's it.
Okay, right. So not leaning heavily into the lessons.
Right. The only lessons, I mean, there's 2 fractal summonings and a pest summoning in the board.
Okay, yep. Get some extra bodies. Now that's a spicy top
Yeah.
deck for the scry.
Oh yeah.
And did manage to scry the land, so can actually get maximum value off emergent sequence, which is good. Nothing sadder than casting emergent sequence having not dropped a land that turn.
Oh yeah, that would be sad indeed. But do you create a Symmetrist here for the Pledge Mage?
I don't think I do, especially as... well, I suppose... Hold on. Archway Commons taps for any colour, doesn't it? So there could be 1 mana instant speed spells.
Yes.
Although, of course, Scott will know what Eldborn's deck is. We play with open deck lists.
Yes.
So...
That being said, in Eldborn's deck we have... I mean, yeah, we have Snakeskin Veil and a Professor's Warning,
so
so
there's
yes.
a chance of a blowout.
There's 2 different ways of putting a +1/+1 counter on the Pledge Mage. Actually, even 2 of them.
Double,
because,
yeah, that's right, double trouble.
Yeah.
But
so yeah.
Now that his sequence has come out, Scott's mana base is looking pretty good. You know, leading into the Invocation to Masterpiece curve, and then a Kick Rage later on. So it's all about those hidden cards. If only Magicstar were here, we'd see Eldborn's entire hand, because he's much more technically capable. But we'll just have to surmise, have a little bit of incomplete information.
Exactly. So here's the thing, though, because yes, he didn't play he didn't try to trade off the Symmetrist, but the thing is, you have 2 of those, and you kind of want to get that Pledge Mage off the board before it turns into a real problem for you.
That's true. It will just keep growing and growing.
Yeah. I mean, sure, at some point you can just kill it with a quick Urza's Rage, but do you really want to spend that one?
That's right, yes. That's the sort of thing you really want to be putting on their face if you can.
Yeah. At least on a really, really big thing that he can't deal with otherwise.
Professor comes out. So we've seen plenty of learn in Eldborn's side, right? We've had Professor, Guiding Voice, and Field Trip already. So pulling them out.
I mean, the thing is, some people seem to think that you want to play these the Silver Quill decks as very aggressive decks that don't learn, but I think that's a mistake. If anything, you want to learn even more in these aggro decks because, well, what's the main problem that aggro decks have? They run out of steam.
That's right, the gas.
Yeah, right. You just don't have any gas left. But if you can learn for stuff, even if it's slightly overpriced and stuff like that, you're still committing to the board and still getting new cards to play, and that's really valuable.
So, what do you play here? The maximum value is Leyline Invocation, but...
Yeah, but I think that's a mistake because you're not really stopping the Pledge Mage at all.
Indeed.
Yeah, I think I'm actually thinking about Strix plus Rage here.
Rage does 3 base damage, doesn't it? Is that right?
Yeah. Yes. But I think you kind of try to force the trade on the Symmetrist here. So you attack with the Symmetrist,
and then
try to make
finish
it
it
off
off
with
Rage. Interesting.
Yes, exactly.
Interesting. So yes, I'm still fairly new to the game, so the idea of trying to use all your mana as economically as possible is something that I sometimes fail to get right.
Yeah.
Although Study Break. There we go.
Yeah,
so the Symmetrist is not coming.
That, of course, kind of hurts the gameplay, and that's one of the reasons why you don't really want to play creatures.
That's right. So the
before you attack,
pull something else out, get a fractal, but there we go. And
I really
confront.
Don't like Scott's situation here because even though he's slightly wider, I don't think his creatures are at all scary for Eldborn right now.
Yeah, that's right, and he's up against a growing Pledge Mage. And yeah, plenty of chance for Eldborn to develop here. But
and
that's
a full hand as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's how Eldborn's gotten here, of course. Solid play, good drafting. Wasn't happy with the last time, actually. I was looking back on the notes, and Eldborn wasn't delighted with the previous Witherbloom type deck that was drafted. He reluctantly added in some white cards to that, but this time, you know, he's unbeaten. He's the winner's bracket of this section, so the deck's obviously doing its job.
So here's the thing, though, right? If a deck is underdrafted, you kind of just try to go for it, unless it's just so bad that you can't play it at all. But in a five deck set, essentially, right, where you only have 5 color pairs to choose from, I think that's almost always a mistake, because you can do worst one if kept open is really good, which is something that happened back in like Ravnica.
Excellent.
And I recall being in absent there quite a lot of the time because
it was underdrafted.
Well, nobody wanted to draft it, and I quite liked being able to just grab all the good cards late.
Excellent. Yes, so Ravnica's in the period that I wasn't playing, so I only came back for Eldraine after about 20 years. So there's a lot of sets I do not know a lot about.
I mean, I came back 1 year earlier than you did after a 15-year hiatus as well, so
excellent.
I don't think there's much of a difference here. I guess now you could start attacking. No Campus Guide attack, though. I think that's...
Yeah, I would have been happy to trade that with Symbology.
Yeah.
And then goes Invocation for a big creature. But of course, Pledge Mage is one spell away from outgrowing that.
Yep.
I definitely have not drafted enough Quadrix Pledge Mages. Seeing them actually work makes me realize how powerful the card can be.
Yeah, but here's the thing. It's very powerful, but it's also very situational, right? If you're not applying pressure early, kind of doesn't work. Like there's the thing about the Quandrix Pledge Mage is that while it's a good card, it needs your deck to be built in a very particular way to actually do its thing. If you have a creature-heavy deck, it's not really doing it. If you have a deck that, for example, really wants to go to the, really wants to win early on, again, like Pledge Mages are nice, but you then need to play more spells afterwards, which means you don't add more creatures to the board most of the time.
Right.
Summonings, but that again is like a requirement for your deck, right? You need to have those learn cards to be able to do that.
Okay, wasn't happy trading the Pledge Mage, and now Scott's made it to Masterpiece territory.
Yeah, but now there's the Squad, which...
That's right, so effectively 2 things that'll kill the creatures on the other side of the table.
Yeah.
So yes, it's width versus, well, obduracy of your opponent's creatures.
Yes.
Alright. So it looks
Although,
like... Go on.
Yeah, so here's the thing. None of the creatures that Scott has right now are actually safe to attack on their own. But everything taken together is getting quite scary for Eldborn, because...
I was going to say, Alpha Strike going around all the creatures is...
Yes, particularly with a Symmetrist and another one in hand is going to be...
That's right, the trample value might be the difference maker, mightn't it?
Yes.
Interesting. It's always fun watching better players. I always learn a lot. That's why this Discord's so good.
It's definitely helpful in just getting better as a player all the time.
So, doing his best, Eldborn on the other side to keep getting wider himself. And that is a very spicy card, because Tanazir can double counters when it ETBs, so that Fractal's about to become a 12/12 with trample.
Yes. And then the turn after, we could even see lots of 6/6s and 10/10s attacking, because of course.
That is, yes, a spicy top deck from Scott there.
Yeah, this is not quite an exponential growth, but it's getting very close.
Yeah, absolutely.
And arguably it's better because you already have to trample and you're actually keeping it this way, and you wouldn't be keeping it with an exponential growth. So,
absolutely, yeah, that's true. So do you send the Fractal here? Yeah. Oh,
I think you send everything.
Yep, go for it.
I mean, I'd also send a Symmetrist here, because you're just playing the next turn anyway.
Yeah, he's kept it back.
Okay.
I suppose maybe he wants to. Do you think he's concerned that if the Symmetrist dies and then Eldborn chooses to exile the other Symmetrist rather than Tanazir? It's the question Although I don't know of the choice.
That one's a
Which
sorcery speed card, though, right?
it is. So it's next turn.
So,
Which is the
yes.
bigger threat? I can't remember what Tanazir's text is after doubling the number of counters. What's its ongoing ability?
So when it attacks, it changes the base power and toughness of all the attacking creatures to its own.
Ah,
which is kind of scary with all of those.
with counters, that's right. Because the fractal would become a 16/16 then, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so this is cleaning up Eldborn's side of the board quite handily.
Yeah. Although
that's going to do 10 damage after
it
trampling.
depends, right? Because if there is a Professor's Warning in
that's
hand,
true.
then
a Pledge Mage survives or
this
something.
might actually be a blowout.
Mm.
Well, I mean, it's still a 2-for-1, but you're getting rid of a very big threat that way.
There it is.
Interesting that he chose to grow the... Oh no, he's just making it indestructible, I guess. Yeah, that makes sense.
So, not as devastating as Scot might have hoped, but still a decent
it's
first
definitely
crack.
It's definitely an improvement of the position for him.
Mm-hmm.
And there's still no blocks on Tanazir right now, so Eldborn probably has to use that one.
Tanazir.
Yes.
So we think we're going to see a trade of Professor for Tanazir here.
I would expect so, yes. But then the next fractal summoning is going to be, well, not quite big enough to be really scary, but still a 5/5.
Still big enough to cause trouble, yeah. Okay, so there's the expected trade. So yes, a couple more creatures on the board for Scot, and he might be able to get back around Eldborn again.
Yes. Although, again, there's more cards in Eldborn's hand than in Scot's, and I'm kind of surprised he's playing that lesson over there. I guess.
Yes, it might be nothing else.
I guess he's mainly doing that for his own Planeswalker, right? But does he even have that? No.
Someone did have an Onyx in the pod. I'm trying to remember who. So there is a
I don't
Planeswalker
think
floating around, but
it's not Eldborn though.
aha, it was another player.
Yes.
So do you expect to see no combat this turn, but setting up for a later turn?
I think so. I think just playing a big fractal again to be able to attack makes a lot of sense here.
Excellent.
Because if you just swing all here, right, your stuff just gets eaten.
Yeah.
You have
just getting picked.
Yeah, you trade your 4/4 for their 5/4. That's not a bad trade, but you're not really getting anything else done.
So it can go up to 6 here.
No, up to 5.
5, sorry, yeah. Maths is not my strong suit. Maybe that's why I'm no good at this game.
I mean, the game tells you if you're doing the math wrong. That way.
Yeah,
the other way around is slightly more annoying because it doesn't tell you, and then you're suddenly in a spot where you're going, wait, why did I leave mana open?
So, fractals and pests, all that's left in Scot's learn board.
Yes. Well, that's anything that's been in there already, so I think there's only pests.
I think one fractal left as well, I saw. So
Right. Yeah, the first fractal was from an invocation and not from a summoning. Right. Well, that's kind of sad now.
Yeah, that is. Because you can get
kind of wish you played the Symmetrist. Yeah, but kind of, in retrospect, you wish you played the Symmetrist first and then played.
Yeah, especially if there was a tap land dropped, I guess. Yeah, that way around would have worked. Going for it?
Yep. Double Symmetrist triggers on anything, but there's no such thing as double trample.
Yeah, unfortunately not. Going for draw, looks like. Yeah, hoping to top deck something meaningful.
Yeah, because this is looking very scary now.
Yeah, that's definitely presenting lethal.
But he's not conceding, so... It's still 7 damage.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how you block, so you need something else.
Nope, has accepted game 1 fate. So we move on to sideboarding. Let's see if Scot makes any tweaks.
What could he tweak here?
He wants Symmetry Sage out.
That makes sense. Just too small, this particular lineup. And the main thing is you're getting a bolt slot anyway.
Thinking of charge through for the cantrip, maybe? Resculpt, is there anything sufficiently terrifying? Curate just for a bit of sorting? Has gone for Curate.
I mean, it's an okay card. You're never unhappy to play it. And I
Filtering
guess
for those
it's
big things.
Exactly.
Having another look around.
Here's the thing, though. I might even consider playing the Sylvan here because it's actually trading off quite nicely for Eldborn's smallish stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Gains you some life, it stabilizes you. I usually don't like the card, but I think in this particular matchup it's not bad.
Okay, so Eldborn gets to choose play draw. That's a nice keep.
Yeah, this looks really nice. Well, if you can keep the Pledge Mage around after playing it,
yes,
because otherwise...
Keeping the Pledge Mage alive is critical, for sure. Not bad, not bad. So Scot's seeing a decent curve here. Let's see what Eldborn can put down to rival it.
I mean, his mana has been kind of rough so far, but that's a nice answer for now.
So do you go Rage before your own Pledge Mage?
No, I don't think so. Okay.
That's fine.
Here's the thing, though.
It may be the wrong line. Do tell us why.
So I think going for the Mentor's Guidance was nice here because you can just play the Pledge Mage and then hope to grow it. And if your opponent plays an answer to your Pledge Mage, that means that they're probably not double spelling. At least usually they'd be using all their mana for that, and then you can still get them with the other switch turn after.
You've got a chance to rage them one turn after. Okay, I like it. Okay, optimal use of mana. That's another thing I never do. So in my brain I go, oh, get the Pledge Mage down early, but you know, using available mana is smart.
That's another reason why I would have played it last turn. But I mean, I think this one worked out fine for Scot, so I don't think this was a straight up mistake. Okay, so that's
Trickster's very nice here.
Okay, that's interesting because I don't think you need to tap the 3/2 at all in the current spot.
I suppose he's worried about either Snakeskin Veil or. Well, there you go.
Here's the thing.
Didn't matter anyway,
eh? Exactly. But if you had played the Pledge Mage, you could just curate now and grow it to a 3/3, right?
Aha.
You're kind of giving up the
count.
Yeah. Yeah, you're giving up the counters value here.
Yes, card timing is an art as well as a science, I've found, and it's definitely not one I currently possess.
You need lots of experience for that, and I'm making lots of mistakes all the time as well. So I wouldn't say that my estimation of this is necessarily the right one. Scot definitely came further in this tournament than I did, so there's that. But the thing is, sometimes you just want to. I tend to be somebody who just goes for maximum value plays often, and that definitely comes through in these kinds of play. Right.
So here the Pledge Mage looks like it's coming out, and then it's just a case of choosing between Curate and Sequence. But is sending first.
Guess you attack first.
Yeah, he's tapped out, so I guess that's a reasonable attack.
I find it interesting that he's attacking with the Symmetrist here. Do you really want to trade that or not?
I think maybe he's thinking, I want to cast a lot of non-creature spells, so trading it for the Mage Hunter isn't the worst thing in the world. And I've got a second one in the deck, so he may be more gun-shy if it was his only Symmetrist.
But I'm not really scared about a Mage Hunter at the current life total. My
That's
thinking.
true. And with the Lerny wall that gains incidental life, it's probably not going to be the thing that kills you, is it?
Interesting.
Whoa,
So he went for the
two interesting.
Balls with speed
top
Q rate.
That's not shabby at all. That might
That next turn
clean
might
stuff
be
up.
just absolutely brutal.
Yeah, this could be.
He can even go for all three, right? He could go for sequence into Mage Duel into keeping up the big play.
Oof.
No, he can't because he needs triple green for that.
He would, yeah.
So,
yep. It's still looking a little ropey from this side of the board.
Yep. Okay, so here's an arrogant poet witch.
It can only fly on his turn, right? So it's not an
Right,
answer
it
to
doesn't
the...
help against the Frost Trickster, which is the biggest problem anyway. Then it doesn't get through the Symmetrist either, and essentially you're trading life for life. You really need to grow that one to quite some size before it's actually good for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So pretty much the only card Eldborn could be holding that saves him is Professor's Warning, right? Because that would at least stop the Mage Duel killing the target.
Yes, but I don't know if that's even good enough.
First of all, going for the Scry 2 draw 2.
So let's get a really big.
Wants a land.
Yes.
Doesn't want a second one. Although green would have been more useful, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but I don't think it's necessary right now. You could just go for the Mage Duel here, and then you attack with a big play.
So you're targeting Symmetrist or Frost Trickster? Because Frost Trickster won't... Oh, he's killing a Spirit. Excellent.
Yes.
I was going to say, doesn't get rid of Mage Hunter that way, but that's obviously not who Scot's targeting. And has big play up as well. Very nice.
How much damage is he dealing right now?
Presenting 13.
He's presenting 13, so there needs to be a block.
Yeah, and obviously we know it's closer to 17 with big play in the Pledge Mage trigger.
Yes. And then there's all the trample around as well, so...
Yes, no, a lot of it's still going through even if he sets up lots of blocks on the Pledge Mage.
Yes.
So this is a tricky affair.
Everything.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Lethal on Pledge Mage, right? Or Trickster, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was.
Okay, so that's 2 games down. Scot and Eldborn will now go and pre-board for the first of the next BO3, and
Yes.
Eldborn has to win 3. So we might have a third BO3 to get the decider if Eldborn goes 2-0 in the second.
For the third one, you could go for a best of 1, right? If it's coming to that.
That's right. So we'll watch Scot pre-board for the next match, but then we're actually going to swap over to the other stream and watch Eldborn's side of the table in a must-win all of the remaining 3 for the championship. Yes. While we watch Scot pre-board, which looks like has happened relatively quickly, since we're in the studio and we see other people, I see Atomic Mushrooms around. Would you like to hop in on the commentating since you're here? I'm quite happy muting and letting you take over the next couple of games if you have headphones to hand and want to speak your piece.
Oh, that's super nice. I totally would, but I'm actually like in here as I'm working.
Okay.
So I'm just
so
watching.
Not a good time to be talking. I understand that.
Yeah.
Jolly good. Okay, so Eldborn and Scot need to quickly decide, because Eldborn gets to pick play or draw now, so they need to send each other a challenge that's consistent with that.
Yeah, so...
We've hopped over to Eldborn's stream, so we will see that side of the table for the next couple of games. Well, next game, 2-3 games to be seen.
Yeah, so... These decks are really quite similar. Like at least, like both of them went to this round, to this final round using Widowbloom decks, right? Or at least Widowbloom-ish decks.
Yes. Yep. They've
So
both done that.
Eldborn even went with Abzan for the second time in a row. So it's interesting. So that is the question whether Widowbloom's just underdrafted, but I don't think it is. At least my experience hasn't been like that. It's rather that, it's not only that. Let's put it like that. It's that if you find the open lane, you're obviously getting rewarded for some extent.
Hmm.
And the other thing is sometimes that's just how the pods roll, right? You can end up in a seat where Widowbloom is just the best or only option, and
Sure. This is a nice opening hand. I don't think you could ask for much better in Eldborn's deck, actually. Killian, Command, Apprentice. There's a lot going on here.
yeah.
Campus Guide. So Scott's once again finding the fixing that's required as well. I think we see a mounted to top, same as the first game. So what do you drop here? Do you drop the Apprentice or do you drop the Archway? Your mana's fine, right? So do you go Apprentice?
I think the command just doesn't do anything. You're a more aggressive deck than your opponent. Playing the Archway commons here seems wrong.
Yeah. Okay. So you want to instead drop the Apprentice and get.
No, you're actually playing the Widowbloom.
You're commanding to remove.
I'm not sure, but getting rid of the Campus Guide is nice. You could, but you could wait for return, right? You can just play the Apprentice here, right? That's what's gonna happen. Then maybe even play the Scot next turn and just get rid of the Campus Guide when they try to double block your Killian. You make their blocks way worse.
Excellent. Already eyeing up Killian for the rage. There it is.
Yeah.
Poor Killian. Everyone wants to remove him.
I wouldn't say poor Killian. Killian has been such a bully for the entirety of this set.
That is true. So thinking about the command now. So your alternative line is to drop Spiteful Squad, but obviously that's...
No, I mean, again, you're the more aggressive deck, you're the beat down here, you're trying to deal damage. And,
Excellent.
There's no point in staying back.
That is a feisty attack.
And then you just drop the commons.
Yep, excellent. There's one of the two symmetrists. Ooh, got a little lag on the video there. There it is, it's back.
Yeah.
It's back.
It's
We're
back.
good.
At least we got a direct answer to the symmetrist in the squad.
That's right.
But the beatdown days are kind of over just because we can't, and that's a problem here.
If they gum up the game board, it is very tricky.
Yes. We've seen that in the last two games, right? I just think that if the going goes long, Eldborn isn't really in a good spot.
Yeah.
But I don't understand this attack. I mean, okay, we will see what gets played, but this is still risky.
Yeah, because Spiteful Squad can just dump counters onto the Apprentice.
You can even just... Yeah, exactly. You can just trade with the Symmetrist using your squad, put those on the Apprentice. And I don't think that's instant speed removal that we haven't seen. Like this other Rage, but that one has been played.
That's right.
So you can't just kill the Apprentice this way. You can, of course, have a Professor's Warning to make your Symmetrist survive, but then you're still dealing with a 4/4 Apprentice on the other side of the board.
But Scot is not running Professor's Warning, right?
Right.
So,
yeah, right. That's even worse then. I don't understand this.
Oh, well, made it through.
Interesting.
And here comes the Pledge Mage.
Right.
So, can go Letter into Disappointment because it's a mana rock as well.
Yes.
But that taps you out. Does refill the hand.
It kind of signals that you don't have anything too.
Indeed.
So maybe you just go for the Disappointment and hope to find one of your trades.
Allow the Apprentice to buff something because it's a trigger.
Exactly.
Eldborn sizing that up.
The earlier you get to play your letters and other ramp spells, the better. And letter in this particular spot is just a really expensive card draw spell, essentially.
Okay, Send the apprentice?
Yes. The pledge mage is a bigger problem long term, right?
Yeah.
So trading off is nice. And dealing
still,
3 damage is nice too.
Yeah, packing in those punches while it's possible. This is Eldborn's second finals as well, so while we're not allowed to specifically root for any competitor, Eldborn of course has been here before. We've got no double champions, but I think he's our first double finalist. So
Might well be the case. I mean, it's been really, really interesting seeing how people have, like, this has been a really wide ball, right? People have gone really very different ways in these various GOVitationals. I've been in the final round, I've been kicked out in the first round, both have happened to me, and there's lots of other peoples like that.
yeah, me too.
This is the fifth one, and this is the first time we even have somebody in the finals for the second time. So
yeah, no kidding. Some
yeah,
consistency.
it's not a case of clear-cut champions or anything like that.
No,
It's
definitely a competitive bracket, which is good.
yes.
So can't double pledge mage here because of the mana base, but can go pledge mage pilgrim.
Yes, but I don't think you play the pilgrim before attacks. You're threatening attacks here.
Yeah.
Although you're not really.
Some mana up. That's right. So do you send Spiteful Squad because you're happy trading and you need to keep putting the damage in?
No. No, you need the Spiteful Squad as a blocker for the Summit Twist or the Pledge Mage, and soon.
Okay. So it looks like they'll be passing combat. Yep. So every turn Scott gets to breathe. There is another piece of removal.
Yep. And it's quite decisive here. Sorry for that pun.
No, I'm 100% pun in this studio. I get frequent eye rolls from my spells, because wordplay is what I love. So, I'm down with that. So, removes the Pledge Mage on one side of the board and grows his.
Yes. And here's the question still. Do you try to get rid of the Spiteful Squad somehow?
Find another piece of removal.
Yeah, because that one's quite oppressive here. You still don't have good attacks. You're not actually threatening lethal, and
that's right. Until you can run over them, you're right. It's it's causing some trouble.
Now, of course, you're in the better spot here just because, like, you have the better late game, generally speaking. But
interesting. So
yeah, here's the thing. I'm actually tempted to just double block with the Apprentice and the Pilgrim here, because I'll get a Pledge Mage next turn anyway. Or you do that.
Goes with the squad, so we'll be shifting them counters around. Oh no, it's had a change of heart.
Because here's the thing, right? The Pilgrim dying is not actually bad for you. You get it back anyway.
That's right. Yep.
And you get to play the Pledge Mage next turn, so you have a target for your squad anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't really have anything that can trade for the Pledge Mage anytime soon, except for the squad.
That's right. So by losing it here, it leaves the Pledge Mage open.
Yes.
Okay. Gone with the Pilgrim for the counters.
I mean, that's probably the right target just because there's less of an incentive for Scot to actually remove the Pilgrim anyway, because of the whole value thing. But
so can go Pledge Mage Field Trip here. So then could pull Necrotic Fumes out of the sideboard to deal with the Pledge Mage.
Yes, although I'm not sure if Necrotic Fumes is actually good for you here.
Because there's not a creature on your side you're that keen to lose.
I mean, you could actually try to just sack or exile you on Apprentice, but that still feels a bit.
It feels bad, yes.
Yeah. So Eldborn might just go for the spirit summoning here.
Just to put another body on the board.
Yes.
You called it. So Eldborn's really hanging on here, looking to try and punch through, keep the bracket alive.
Yes, because I mean,
Ooh boy.
oh, this is not looking good though.
Yes, the limited bombs.
That's precisely where you're now really missing that squad, right? Because if you had the squad around, you'd be fine.
Mm.
Not great anyway, right? You still need to deal with the convicts, but
That's
at
right,
least
but one
you're
less
fine.
problem. Yeah.
Exactly.
So now, looking for a top deck, so might scry.
Yeah, but you need to. Here's the thing, right? Your best answer is actually necrotic fumes, so you kind of want to have a learn card as well, and then you're
not
short on
getting
mana.
that.
So
this is definitely praying territory for Eldborn.
yeah. I think this might. I mean, if you get a guiding voice, you're fine, but that's like the only art you have in that spot.
Yeah. Running the numbers.
Yeah.
He's going for it. Let's see what's on top.
One mana too much to
That's
be
right.
good.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Still
Although
taking it.
It's
Hope
better
he'll
than
deal
nothing
with another
because it's a
turn.
chump blocker at least, and they don't have trample yet. So
Indeed.
yes. And you get your necrotic fumes from the sideboard to be able to like summoning and fumes next turn. But it's not looking good at all.
Do you go spirit summoning here to grow the pledge mage so you can send pledge mage and pilgrim? No, because then you get hit on the crackback. Sorry, doing the maths. Doing the maths one sentence late because I'm that bad at maths. Sometimes I correct my own mistakes.
Relatively good at maths, and I'm usually still making these calculations 1 second too late. It's also a question of temperament.
More advanced mathematicians always say that about mental arithmetic, but mental arithmetic's all I've got, so no excuses from me. I definitely don't have advanced math. So probably makes a forest here bigger to... Yep, there you go. Oh, it's all creatures. Ooh, ouch.
Yes, it is. That's why I need to jump block all of them, except for quantities who you can't jump block.
Oh boy, yeah. Oh, nice.
Oh, even trading off. No, actually, it's not a trade. Right, that's actually.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Barring Scot having
but you have to
a
exile
big play
your
in hand
pilgrim
or something.
afterwards, and no, right, you don't even have to do that. You have to exile your token, but I don't see how you survive next turn. Because there's still that huge pledge mage around, even if you're exiled.
Yeah.
And sure, you can jump block that once. And I guess you're actually pretty close. Actually, you can have 9 mana next turn, so you can keep jumping it indefinitely, but you still have to deal with more creatures. And you don't have the mana to keep replaying just your pilgrim just to jump block the pledge mage while Dot keeps piling on.
A land was not what Eldborn wanted there. An unfortunate end.
Yeah, but
let's hope Eldborn makes it in the Adventures in the Forgotten Realms GOVitational. Looking for another one. Got study break. Oh.
Well, that's an answer. That one leaves you alive for one more turn, right?
Yes, you could swing here with Pilgrim. Okay. I was
You
thinking if you
could,
swing...
but you'd go down 1 life, so you shouldn't. Right.
So, study break Tanazir and the Pledge Mage.
Yes.
Can pull the other spirit summoning. Well, the good game was moderately premature, thanks to the letter pulling a study break. But that's going to make things trickier the turn after.
Yeah. I mean, you have 2 ground creatures and then an exile, but I don't see how you deal with both of these 4/4s and the Pledge Mage, so...
Yeah. Yes, the maths is not stacking up. There we go. Unlucky Eldborn. Good luck in GOVitational 6, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, right? This has just been a really, really bad matchup for him. I mean, you have a mid-range deck, and then you're running into another deck that's doing the same kind of mid-range, just a tiny bit slower and with a tiny bit at the top of the curve. And
Absolutely. Congratulations, Scott.
Thank you very
I
much.
can't.
Now, unfortunately, the Discord guide and the rest of the mods are looking the other way, so I'm the one who has to change your username gold. I'll do that after I stop recording. But well done. Congratulations. Well done for joining the pantheon of winners. Commiserations, Eldborn. I know that's your second final. That's not what you wanted to see. So let's hope you make it good in GOVitational 6.
Yes, this was quite horrible.
So Mathcorejay was just saying that was a bad matchup for your deck. Did you feel the same way?
Well, I feel that I'm running a train wreck and ScotMartin is running a Shinkansen or something. No, but I mean, yeah, it was a bad matchup for me, I guess. But I don't know what's a good matchup for this deck is. I'm just very surprised that I got this far.
It was a good run in the top bracket, but yeah, Scott, I think you did all right. You seemed to get some good curves and got the fixing when you were looking for it. Made some good decisions. You'll enjoy looking back on the recording with me asking stupid questions about how to play your hand, and I was not doing as well as you. But congratulations, well played.
Thank you. Yeah, it did. It was my deck ran as bad as well as it could run there.
Yeah, it helps to have a dragon as well.
Yes, the dragon, of course, is ridiculous. Yep, I missed one attack, I think, on in game one. The 4/4 tramp. I made a big attack and I left back my symmetrist. And then after I did the attack, I thought I should have sent him too.
So I was wondering if you were worried that would get killed and then they'd find a way to remove the other symmetrist and then you lose that knack to your deck. So I was thinking there was method to your madness.
Oh, it was more just paranoia. Like, yes, I need trample badly. What if something goes wrong? But it was,
Yeah.
I mean, you have
a little
the
ridiculous.
second symmetrist in hand, right? So you could just regain trample the turn after anyway, and just
exactly
crush all Eldborn hope in that spot.
So
yep, it was just a missed attack. Luckily, I didn't get punished for it.
Yeah. So Eldborn, you got off to a good fast start in game 3, but unfortunately things stalled out for you. Do you think this deck benefits from a quick start?
Yes, I mean my deck is not an aggro deck. It's not a control deck either. So I don't know what I was trying to do, but I mean I couldn't play around for too long. I mean I knew that you had what's his name, decisive
denial.
Yeah, right. So I couldn't block with my Death Toucher because then he would just fight my other guy, right?
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, so I and at last I couldn't play around it, so I just had to waste my resources there. But yeah.
Well, yes. So it was to some extent a battle of whose pledge mage stuck around, and I think Scott managed to get yours off the board. And you did not have the same fortune.
No. I had 3 pledge mages, but I couldn't protect them for so much. So.
Yeah, I do want to point out Eldborn never drew their Baleful Mastery or their the white 4-mana instant that kills something with 4 power.
Yeah, defend
I need that one. Yeah. But,
those cards definitely made a difference in the earlier rounds when Eldborn beat me.
We took a deep breath when you said good game and then pulled Study Break off the top. And we're
I remember. Well, I could pop the letter of acceptance and find the Study Break. That's the only chance.
But that was exciting to see.
Yeah, I needed that one turn.
We saw them and we both went like, okay, this is the only out you could have had in that spot.
yeah. I needed that one turn earlier, so
yeah. Okay, right.
Well,
thank you very much for both sharing your sides of the game. A lot of fun. We'll get this up on YouTube so people can watch it through. I'll go and do the modding stuff to change another colour. And obviously thanks to Murph for running the show. We'll be back for Adventures in the Forgotten Realms sometime in a couple of months' time, I guess.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you very much for the arrangement of the tourney.
Yes,
that's all thanks to Murph. Murph is great, and we're getting a good
Murph
crop
has been absolutely awesome for months now.
Hooray for Murph. And we're getting a good crop of stable mates in the commentary booth, so people don't have to listen to me the whole time, which my wife will tell you is a good thing. So it's nice to come along. Thanks, Mathcore, for joining me in the booth today. Much appreciated.
Thank you for giving me the chance.
No, it's
really.
great. You're welcome. We'll be leaning on you to do it again in future.
I have no way, like no reason to say no to that.
Glad
well,
to
except
hear it. Good stuff. All right, well, we'll leave you all in peace, and thank you a lot for watching, and we'll see you all for GOVitational 6. I say you all, we'll all be playing in it as well, of course, not just talking and streaming. So, yeah, thanks, Murph. Look forward to the next one. All right, bye all.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks a lot.